Chapter 71. You are listening at novelfull.audio. During this period, Orochimaru's wish was to learn all the ninjutsu, rather than pursue the dark study of eternal life. Orochimaru has a deep interest in all kinds of ninjutsu illusions. There is no doubt that he wants to take advantage of Sakura. Thinking of the quarrel between herself and Qianyue, Tsunade subconsciously shrank her neck. She is not afraid of the genjutsu that can control Jounin. But if even a strong man like the third Kazekage couldn't escape, it would be dangerous. If one day Qianyue is pushed into a hurry, Qianyue will do it for herself. Thinking of the image of herself dancing in public, Tsunade almost dug out a 3-bedroom and 1 living room from the ground with her toes. It's so embarrassing and totally embarrassing. It's better not to mess with this kid in the future, otherwise it will be barbecue if you really push him. The most important thing is that Qianyue is really brave. Judging from Tsunade's understanding of him, Qianyue would definitely not mind letting her die once in a hurry. Ahem, today's children are really powerful, much better than us. Tsunade coughed unnaturally and threw the scroll to Jiraiya. The old man asked me to go to Qianyue to confirm the matter of the third Kazekage. Will you go? Go. Orochimaru answered clearly. Jiraiya scratched his head and thought for a moment. I'll go too. You're all gone. I don't want to be alone, so we'd better go together. Then let's go. I just miss Qianyue's delicious food. Tsunade felt her stomach growl unsatisfactorily. The 3 of them repaired themselves, then exited the battle zone and quickly headed towards the sentry point. Qianyue, is it really okay for us to do this? Qianyue, should we be more careful? What will Qianyue eat today? Qianyue, I shot a wild deer. How about having barbecue tonight? In just a few days, the rope tree almost turned into the shape of 1,000 moons. Ah, he has become Qianyue's loyal little fanboy. I was completely captured by Qianyue's delicious food. At first, I was still worried. On the one hand, I was afraid of attracting enemies, and on the other hand, I was afraid of being blamed by the people in the village. It turned out that nothing happened, and the camp thoughtfully sent them some supplies. Is this really evil? Danzo has changed his gender. No. Danzo thoughtfully sent some fresh ingredients, including beef that was rare in the camp. The 3 of Qianyue sat together and happily ate barbecue. It was so comfortable. Qianyue didn't know what Danzo had planned. Since the ingredients delivered are safe and not poisoned, why not eat them? You can make do with anything, but you can't overwhelm your stomach. Only by eating and drinking enough can you have the strength to kill the enemy. You 3. Tsunade and the other 3 rushed over non-stop. As soon as they entered the sentry post, they saw 3 people sitting together, eating delicious barbecue. Suddenly my chest swelled with anger. You guys have gone too far. You are in the middle of a battlefield and you still eat such good food. Step aside. Pushing her brother away, Tsunade successfully took his place. Jiraiya's eyes sparkled. Orochimaru also looked at Qianyue and the other 3 people with strange eyes. Are you here to travel or to fight? This little life was so free and easy. Forget it, these are not important. The important thing is to fill your stomach first. So, 3 people eating barbecue immediately became 6 people. One by one, their mouths were full of oil, and they kept breathing in the heat. If outsiders saw this, their eyes would definitely pop out. By the way, where did you get the beef? After eating and drinking, Jiraiya finally thought of this problem. Camps generally don't prepare this kind of stuff. It's too expensive and there are no villages around. So even if you steal it, you won't be able to find it anywhere. Qianyue and the other 2 people couldn't do such a thing just for a bite to eat. Jiraiya-sensei, it was sent from the camp. Minato answered honestly. Camp? Jiraiya exclaimed, and Orochimaru and Tsunade looked over in surprise. The fact that it was sent from the camp meant that Danzo acquiesced. Oh my god, did the sun come out in the land of rain today? Danzo actually allowed the 3 brats to start a small business here. Can you believe that Danzo would do this? Yes, it was sent from the camp. The people from the logistics department said that our team had done a good job and there happened to be fresh meat in the camp, so they sent some. Minato answered truthfully. He won't hide anything. Who would have thought that the 3 of them would save many Konoha ninjas in just a few days based on this small stronghold? Even Qianyue herself didn't expect it. The existence of the sentry point was established to warn the enemy of large-scale attacks, but Qianyue and the others saved many people and gained a lot of military exploits. this early warning job was pretty good. And Qianyue was a little addicted to it, at least it's not as boring as guarding the morgue. You will not be allowed to run around the battlefield in the heavy rain, kill enemies everywhere, and just guard the sentry point. It's so cool to treat yourself to some delicious food when you have nothing to do. Tsunade and the other two were extremely helpless. Qianyue, is what you said above true? After resting for a while, Tsunade took out a scroll and handed it to Qianyue. Qianyue took it and opened it, and said in surprise, "Who spread the news? The third Kazekage? Isn't he afraid of embarrassment?" Qianyue did not expect that the third-generation Kazekage fell into the dance illusion. Minato and Uchiha Mikoto would not tell anyone about this, and neither would Chizuki herself. Then there is only one suspected target, the third Kazekage, but it was too late for others to cover up such embarrassing things. It would be better for him to spread the news. The fact that Tsunade came to ask him meant that the news had already spread. The fact that Tsunade and the three came here specially must be related to Danzo and the third Hokage. The person who asked them to come was either Danzo or the third Hokage. Qianyue felt that the third Hokage was more likely. This shinobi must be extremely anxious. Confirmed. Qianyue can say these words in this tone. Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya can be sure that the news is true. How did you do it? Tsunade didn't mean to question it, she just felt a little weird. After all, the shadow of every village represents the strong. The third Kazekage is known as the strongest Kazekage in Sand Ninja Village. Even so, he fell into the trap. Qianyue's dance illusion is too terrifying. How did you do it? Qianyue looked at her angrily and said, "That, he thought I was just a brat and thought I was bound to die. Then I opened my Sharingan eye, and his attention was distracted. He used genjutsu, and that's how he got caught." No matter how powerful a person is, if he relaxes his vigilance towards the enemy, he will fall over. So the third Kazekage drank the foot-washing water I fed him, and even drank a basin of it. If you are hit by the Sakura Fall illusion, even if the illusion is released, your spirit will be damaged. It will take a long time to recover. Unless your mental power is strong enough to ignore the damage. God drinks foot-washing water. The third Kazekage would definitely be furious when he heard this. Tsunade and others had black lines on their heads, and they had the urge to force Qianyue to change her adjectives. After all, it is not very pleasant to describe a village by saying, drinking foot-washing water. Forget it, these are not important. Shaking her head, Tsunade then asked, "Then why didn't you tell the village about this?" Chapter 72. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Will others think I'm crazy? Qianyue rolled her eyes at Tsunade, who was so angry that she wanted to hit someone, but she raised her hand and thought for a moment, then put it down calmly, because she found that Qianyue's eyes had begun to turn red. The meaning is very clear: if you dare to take action, I will kill you. How about giving it a try? Try it? Orochimaru and Jiraiya looked like they were watching a show. Minato showed a burdened smile again, and Naoki looked around curiously. He really wanted to know whether his sister, a violent woman, could withstand Qianyue's illusion. If you can't hold it, there will be a good show. You guys are just waiting to watch the show, right? Tsunade was speechless, waved her hands, and said feebly, "Forget it. If you don't say this, why do you think no one will believe what you say?" Pointing to her eyes and then her temples, Qianyue burst into laughter. "Please, I'm not stupid or blind. The village has always had problems with Uchiha, you can see it. Even though I'm just a half-blood, my situation is no better than that of Uchiha. Besides, if a child said this, no one would believe it. Instead, it would make people think there was something wrong with me. They may also say that there is something wrong with my brain, or I am crazy about taking credit, so why bother? As long as the third Kazekage doesn't tell himself, who will know? Who would have thought?" Sighing, Qianyue said with hatred, "Who knew that the third Kazekage was so spineless that he could say such embarrassing things? You don't know, but the dance he danced that night was so eye-catching. Tell me quickly." Several people became energetic immediately, even Tsunade was no exception. Can someone as old-fashioned as the third Kazekage dance? Splashing water on purpose, right? Are you trying to make me famous on purpose? Okay, I'll make it happen for you. Let's wait and see which of us is more miserable. The third Kazekage slapped him, and Qianyue would definitely hit him back. You do the first grade, and I do the 15th grade, and everyone takes turns. So Qianyue talked about the essence of pole dancing. Several people took a breath and stared at him dumbfounded. How could the third Kazekage do such a shameful dance? Sure enough, people should not be judged by their appearance. Big news, really big news. Jiraiya quickly took out his notebook and decided to write it down. You can't miss such a fun thing. It must surprise the old man. Ha ha ha, didn't you, the third Kazekage, say that I am a super genius comparable to Senju Hashirama? Are you constantly attracting hatred to me? Well, I say you pole dance. The dignified Sandaime Kazekage of Sand Ninja Village actually twists and turns like a dancer in the red area. Let's see if you can bear it. It took a while for a few people to digest this shocking news. Minato and Naoki felt that their thoughts were no longer healthy. Jiraiya's eyes were shining and he kept writing, as if he had found some inspiration. Orochimaru looked at Qianyue with a strange expression. He could see that Qianyue said this on purpose, just to make the third Kazekage embarrassed and thrown into his grandma's house. Even if Qianyue is lying, he must believe it, and you should say the same thing when talking to others. Normally, it would not be good to slander a village's film reputation like this, but now we are enemies, and you have come to attack us in the fire country. Do you still need to be polite to you? Just toss it hard and it will be over, no matter how stinky it is, as long as it makes you, the third Kazekage, look bad. That's good. When the news spreads, let's see how the ninjas and people of Suna Ninja Village see you, the Kazekage. From now on, don't call him the strongest Kazekage, call him the steel pipe Kazekage. It just so happens that you like playing with iron sand, so making a steel pipe is easy. No one is a fool. Except for Minato and Naoki, who had their views refreshed and thought their thoughts were impure. Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru could all see that Kianzuki was fooling around. No, Tsunade came back to her senses and figured it out. She didn't want to expose Qianyue, but she couldn't. But hold it in, it's a little uncomfortable. The most important thing is, where did this kid know such nonsense? Has he been to those places? Tsunade was shocked at the thought. Orochimaru's eyes were full of smiles and he asked deliberately, Qianyue, how do you know this? What a mess. Qianyue frowned, and when she looked back at Tsunade's expression as if she had seen a ghost, she knew she had misunderstood. How could he, Yagami Qianyue, go to that kind of place? At least I've never been there in my life. Oh, it's because I read Orochimaru-senpai's book, New. Orochimaru broke through the defense directly. Tsunade's beautiful eyes widened. Jiraiya raised his head in shock, looked at Orochimaru, and showed an expression of, so you are this kind of person. What do you mean? Does Orochimaru-sensei also like to go to places like that? Naoshu asked curiously. Orochimaru's eyes were full of murderous intent, and he looked over coldly. He was so frightened that Naoki's little heart skipped a few beats, and he quickly hid behind Tsunade. Taking a deep breath, Orochimaru said calmly, I don't have such a book. I haven't lent any books to Qianyue, so it's none of my business. How come? Qianyue pointed to the rope tree. When I was stationed at the morgue in the camp before, Shingshu took out some books and said they were given by you. One of the travel notes contains this kind of content, which is more explicit than what I described. Orochimaru was completely confused now, because the book Naoshu read was indeed taken from him. But he doesn't read this kind of book, let alone collect it. No need to explain, I understand. Jiraiya sighed and patted Orochimaru on the shoulder. We can communicate some other time. Ah. With a scream, Jiraiya flew out. Orochimaru had a dark face, indicating that he did not want to speak. Your teacher is so pitiful, anyone could beat him. Qianyue communicated with Minato with her eyes, and Minato smiled awkwardly, not knowing what to say. Jiraiya's behaviors sometimes seem funny, but they are also quite embarrassing, especially for people who are close to him, like Minato. Minato was always the one who felt the most uncomfortable at times like this. You are asking whether the third Kazekage is sick, just to make me hate you and spread the word about this. Isn't that the case? After confirming the authenticity of the news, Tsunade and the others quickly left. Qianyue sat by the fire. He never understood what the third Kazekage was doing for this purpose. Is it more important to kill a genius than to embarrass the whole village? I'm afraid that the memory you gave him was too profound, so much so that the third Kazekage risked losing face by spreading the word about you, so that you can be put on the assassination lists of other villages. In this kind of matter, Rope Tree has the best say. After all, he grew up listening to the stories of Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama. During the Warring States period, there were countless examples of rival families stifling family geniuses. Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara both experienced the pain of their brothers being assassinated. After the establishment of the 5 ninja villages, this situation has improved significantly. For the geniuses in the village, each village will provide corresponding training and protection to reduce the premature death of geniuses. Chapter 73. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qianyue clicked her tongue and marveled. Then he really spent a lot of money, and even risked his own reputation just for me, Yagami Qianyue, but I'm not at a loss, so let me add some firewood to him to make the fire burn stronger. As long as you, the third Kazekage, are not afraid of being pissed to death, I don't care. Want to assassinate me? Want to kill me, Yagami Qianzuki, in advance? Then come and try it. It depends on whether I die early or your reputation dies first. Lose your reputation. Naoki and Minato looked strange. Based on what Qianyue just said, once word gets out, will the third Kazekage still have a reputation? I'm afraid it will become a joke to the entire ninja world. The most critical issue is that in peacetime, people would not look at the monk or the Buddha, and generally would not deliberately discredit you, but during the war, who cares about your face? Just publicize it, and as long as you have a hard time, it's good for me. It would be best to stink you, the third Kazekage, and make you a big joke to see how the people of your land of wind view you. I, Chigetsu Yagami, am not afraid of ordinary assassinations, but are you, the third Kazekage, really not afraid of your reputation becoming bad? In Konoha, the Hokage's office building was still brightly lit. In the Hokage's office, the third Hokage was still working overtime as always, and even Koharu, a member of the elders group, and Mito Kadoin could not escape. One of them manages the medical department and the other manages the logistics department. After the war broke out, the consumption of various materials increased, which made the two of them have headaches. I had to work overtime with the third Hokage. Koharu, how is the graduation situation of the new ninjas? Due to the war, there are not many suitable candidates in the village to guide ninjas. This year's new ninjas may have to face the situation of being without a teacher for a long time. Just the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain has taken up a lot of Konoha's energy. It happened that at this time, the Sand Ninja Village declared war on Konoha. Konoha fought on 2 fronts, and powerful ninjas were constantly dispatched to the battlefield, so much so that the newly graduated ninjas faced a very embarrassing situation. There are not enough guidance ninjas, and many of them need to form their own teams and be self-reliant. Arrange some simple commissions and tasks for these children as much as possible to reduce the casualties of the team. At this time, the third Hokage had no good way to arrange for these newly graduated students. Men Yen, how long will it take to replenish the ninja tools purchased by the craftsman country? I'm afraid it will take some time. Pushing up the glasses on the bridge of his nose, Mito Menyen was also worried about this matter. The food, medicine, and ninja tools consumed every day on the battlefield are huge, and relying solely on Konoha's reserves is not enough. Need to buy from outside, but at this time, the prices of various materials soared. You can't even buy it if you have money. Among them, the most in short supply is the detonating charm. Even if the price triples, there won't be enough goods. After frowning and thinking for a moment, the third Hokage sighed. Konoha's reserve should last for a while. I will discuss it with the clan heads and hope they will release some of their reserves. Hokage-sama. At this time, the Anbu ninja entered the Hokage's office and respectfully placed the information scroll on the table. This is the information returned from the battlefield in the Kingdom of Rain. Thank you for your hard work. The third Hokage nodded, picked up the scroll, and opened the seal on it. Cough, cough, cough. After glancing at the contents of the scroll, the third Hokage coughed violently, and his old face that was starting to get wrinkles turned red. His eyes widened and he stared blankly at the scroll that fell on the table. What kind of information would make you, Sarutobi Hiruzen, make such a big move? After going to bed, Koharu and Mito got up in front of the door and walked over. When Xiaochun turned to bed and looked down, he froze in place. Ahem. Mito Menyen coughed, looking like he wanted to laugh but was holding it back. To calm down the anger that almost sent him away, the third Hokage felt that he needed to take a puff of cigarette to calm down his shock. Holding the pipe in his mouth and taking a few puffs of smoke, he put away the scroll and summoned the ANBU ninja. Let the people from the intelligence department spread all this information. Yes, Hokage-sama. The ANBU ninjas don't know what's written in the scroll, respectfully picked up the scroll and left. The third Kazekage is going to be famous. Famous in the ninja world. And it's not even a good reputation. After just a few puffs of cigarette, the third Hokage decided to spread the news. Since you are unkind, don't blame me for being unjust. Even if I think this news is nonsense, I will still spread it, and I will embarrass you, the third Kazekage, to death. Koharu and Mito Manabu also remained silent when they moved to bed, and they also acquiesced to the arrangement of the third Hokage. You have brought a large army to attack our fire country. Why are you being polite to us? Besides, you were the one who casually spread the news in the first place. Since you, the third Kazekage, are so shameless, why should I, Konoha, cover it up for you? Regardless of whether it is true or not, spread the word first and then talk about it. It's not you who's embarrassed. Ever since, Qianyue's various wonderful versions of nonsense were passed on, the first one to start spreading was Konoha. Have you heard? The Sandaime Kazekage of Sand Ninja Village can actually dance that shameful dance. What dance? You are stupid. You went to that place and paid money to see it. Now it has been spread. Huh? Is there such a thing? It's absolutely true. I heard it from my aunt's nephew's daughter-in-law. The news is absolutely true. Like a whirlwind, the news spread throughout Konoha. In barely a morning, the third Kazekage had become the laughingstock of the entire Konoha. Countless people were talking about this matter, laughing so hard that they could not straighten their backs. The spies placed in Konoha by the Sand Ninja Village were instantly dumbfounded when they learned the news. This can't be true, can it? Does Kazekage-sama still have such a hobby? The spy couldn't help but fantasize about the scene of his Kazekage-sama dancing like that, and suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. It was so irritating to his eyes. It would be better to get the news out as soon as possible. The news is spreading centered in Konoha, and is also spreading in the Rain Country camp. Many ninjas were stunned for a while. OMG. The third Kazekage of Sand Ninja Village still has this kind of hobby. No, he also has this kind of perverted hobby. It's true that people cannot be judged by appearance, and sea water cannot be measured. I have learned a lot. Countless ninjas were discussing this matter while they had nothing to do. As a result, the news gradually spread, and even members of the Rain Ninja Village, IWA Ninja Village, and Sand Ninja Village who were also on the battlefield in the Land of Rain received the news. Chapter 74. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hanzo went to confirm the information again and again. If it weren't for the intelligence collected by his right-hand man, he would even think that the other party was making fun of him. Could it be that I, the demigod, Sanshuya Hanzo, cannot keep up with the progress of the times? You're old. Young people nowadays really have a lot of fun. Anoki sighed. He couldn't imagine that scene. Even if this news is most likely false, who cares? Now even if it's fake, you, the third Kazekage, can't clean yourself up. Because it was you, the Suna Ninja Village, who first spread the news that Konoha's Yagami Kianzuki could control you with genjutsu. Since you are controlled by illusion, it should be reasonable for you to do something outrageous, right? Bump. Chio slapped the table and said angrily, This is absolutely false. There is no way Lord Kazekage would do such a thing. Even if Lord Kazekage said that he was controlled by illusion, it was obviously because he wanted to praise and kill the brat Kianzuki Yagami. As a result, Konoha has seized the opportunity to deliberately slander the Kazekage of our Sand Ninja Village. Pass on my order and no one will discuss this matter. Also contact the Kawanaguni camp, hoping that Master Kazekage will clear up the misunderstanding as soon as possible. If this continues, not only will the third Kazekage stink, but the reputation of Sand Ninja Village will also fall into the sewers. The daimyo was already dissatisfied with Sand Ninja Village, and upon hearing this news, he would definitely burst into rage. After the third Kazekage, one of the parties involved, learned all this, The entire camp headquarters of Suna Ninja Village in Kawanaguni was covered in iron sand. One can imagine how angry the third Kazekage was. After a period of time, the third Kazekage was in trouble, but the frequency of Suna Ninja Village's attacks on Konoha also increased a lot. Let Hitaki Sakumo continue to complain. While complaining, he also secretly laughed at the fact that the third Kazekage dug a big hole for himself and eventually buried him. Even if the Sand Ninja Village stood up to refute the rumors, this matter would be nailed on the third Kazekage's head. Nail him to the pillar of shame. In the future, if someone mentions him, the third Kazekage, he will also bring up this shameful matter. Even if Qianyue is mentioned, he will be whipped. The sky was gloomy, the heavy rain had been falling for several days, and it still showed no sign of stopping. Walking on the muddy road, Qingshu couldn't help but complain. I think it is definitely not a wise decision for us to enter the battlefield at this time. You have to ask our commander-in-chief about this. Qianyue answered casually and choked Qingshu until she was speechless. Even though he has a distinguished status, Naoki is not Tsunade, and he does not dare to speak ill of Danzo casually. This is a decision made by the headquarters after discussion. You can't just blame one person, right? Minato retorted with a smile. The team was finally transferred away from the sentry point, and the reason, Sun Jounin felt that the team should not be stationed at such a sentry point, as it was a bit overqualified. With Qianyue's strength, he can enter the battlefield to kill more enemies and do more things, instead of huddled in one place, guarding a dispensable sentry point. After negotiation, the small team was dispatched to support the large troops on the front line. In recent days, the attacks in Suna Ninja Village have become more frequent and fierce, and coupled with the attacks from Iwa Ninja Village and Rain Ninja Village, the frontline troops are under great pressure. The camp can only continue to send suitable teams to support. Qianyue and the other three were one of the supporting teams. Master, there are enemies ambushing us in the forest ahead. Xiao Bai, who was hiding in the raincoat and resting on Qianyue's shoulder, got out his little head and reminded Qianyue. Minato and Naoki immediately became alert. In the past few days, they relied on Xiao Bai's reminders to avoid several waves of enemies in large numbers, and several teams were killed among them. Which village's ninja are you from? Qianyue made a gesture and the three of them quickly hid themselves. The Kingdom of Rain only has too much rain. Apart from this shortcoming, the environment is still good. There are forests all over, which is very suitable for hiding or ambush. He's a ninja from Iwa Ninja Village. Xiao Bai is an expert in this area, so don't underestimate the tailed beast's perception ability. Xiao Bai's perception ability is beyond even Qianyue's flattery. A ninja from Iwa Ninja Village. Qianyue narrowed her eyes, made a gesture to Minato and Nashu who were hiding behind the tree pole, and passed them from one side. It's really insidious. The ninjas of the Iwa Ninja Village used the Earth Release ninjutsu to create a small space underground to hide in order to prevent anyone from going around to the back. Many hidden traps were set up. Trap. If you don't know in advance that the enemy is prepared, you might be attacked, but is it safe to hide underground? You are not the only ninjas from Iwa Ninja Village who are good at Earth Release ninjutsu. Close the door and release the rope tree. After getting rid of several traps around him, Qianyue asked Minato and Naoki to come to his side. The two of them approached cautiously and asked in a low voice, Qianyue, where is the enemy hiding? Holding the rope tree's neck, Qianyue pointed to the slightly raised place outside the forest. See. It's down there. Since they like to hide underground, let them stay underground. I'm good at this. Qingshu smiled, quietly lurked up, and quickly formed the seal. Earth Release, the technique of rock's sudden collapse. Boom! The ground began to shake. Before the Iwagakure ninjas under the small mound realized what was happening, rocks collapsed, burying them alive in the ground ready to fight. Just burying the enemy underground is not enough. The Iwa Ninja Village is best at earth escape ninjutsu. There are many ways to escape the danger of being buried alive. Chigetsu rushed forward first. Minato pulled out a kunai and followed closely behind. Qianyue's prediction is good. A few seconds later, because of the collapse of the underground pit, the rocks were separated, and several embarrassed figures jumped out of the pit. Unfortunately, they were greeted by Qianyue and Minato who had already prepared. Forehead. After almost being buried alive, the underground Iwagakure ninja had no choice but to use ninjutsu to escape and ran out of the underground space that was not filled with rocks, but as soon as they jumped up, before their feet even landed, what was waiting for them was Qianyue's attack, fire release, dragon fire technique. A large amount of chakra condensed in the throat, Qianyue spurted a lot of flames from his mouth, and the fire dragon condensed with flames rolled up towards several Iwagakure ninjas who had just escaped from the underground space. The Iwagakure ninja's mind went blank. He was caught in the flames before he even landed, and was instantly engulfed by the scorching flames. The smell of burnt meat filled the air, and several corpses fell from the sky. Minato, who was holding the kunai tightly and preparing to fight, looked at Qianyue with some resentment. Can you please stop being like this? The battle is resolved so quickly every time. I don't even touch a hair of the enemy and the battle is over. After all, Qingshu made a move, but he didn't catch anything. Chapter 75. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at the coke still smoking black on the ground, Qianyue stepped forward and patted Minato on the shoulder, comforting. Don't be impatient. We can't kill all the enemies. Besides, you want to be the fastest man in the ninja world. Just try to be faster than me next time. I believe you, you are the fastest man in the ninja world. Don't think I don't know what you're talking about, the fastest man in the shinobi world. Minato didn't want that title at all. When he grows up, he still has to regain his manhood. How can it be faster? I have to say that following Qianyue, Minato gradually became bad at learning, and even the rope tree began to be led astray. Minato is right, Qianyue, you started too quickly. Walking forward and looking at the charred corpses on the ground, Qingshu grinned. Tisk, it's so miserable. When these ninjas from Iwa Ninja Village encounter you, it's like encountering a nemesis. They can't even hide. In the sky, a signal bomb specially designed for Konoha ninjas exploded. Qianyue suddenly raised her head and looked at the signal bomb in the sky whose flames were extinguished by rain, and her expression became serious. It's too late to dispose of the body. Someone is sending a signal for help. Walk. Qianyue took the lead and rushed into the rain, followed closely by Minato and Nezu. The sound of fierce fighting came closer and closer, and a group of Konoha ninjas were fleeing in panic. Behind him were a large number of ninjas from the Rain Ninja Village. Help. Qianyue and Minato rushed forward first. Qingshu nodded heavily and quickly formed the seal. Earth release Tulan spear technique. As the ground shook, sharp rocks emerged from the ground. The lineup of ninjas in the Rain Ninja Village was immediately disrupted. A few unlucky guys had their bodies pierced by sharp rocks and screamed while holding the rocks. Saved. We are saved, there are reinforcements. Get closer. Suddenly someone extended a helping hand, and the ninjas of Konoha cried with joy, and quickly helped the wounded to get closer to the rope tree. The pursuit of the ninjas of Yunnin village was interrupted, and a few unlucky guys who were not dead were rescued by their companions. A ninja from the Rain Ninja village wearing a Jonin armor raised his hand to signal others to come closer to him. He looked warily at Qianyue, who was rushing up with Minato, and asked. Konoha's Yagami Chizuki. Qianyue didn't expect that the other party would recognize her identity. Be careful, the opponent's illusion is very strong, don't look into his eyes. Recently, the incident between Qianyue and the third Kazekage has spread throughout the ninja world, and ninjas in various villages have also collected some information about Qianyue. On the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain, the ninjas in the Rain Ninja Village, Iwa Ninja Village, and Sand Ninja Village were all reminded, if you encounter Chigetsu Yagami on the battlefield, you must be careful. The opponent's illusions are very strong, and he also has the 3 Magatama Sharingan. Even Kage-level warriors like the third Kazekage were accidentally caught in the attack, and ninjas from the same village in Konoha also had records of being directly controlled by illusions. No one dared to ignore such terrifying illusions. This person is a bit stupid. The ninjas who looked at the Rain Ninja Village lowered their heads or turned their faces sideways, not meeting Qianyue's eyes. You don't really think that Qianyue's dance illusion requires direct gaze to fall into it, right? When meeting a jounin of the Uchiha clan, it has become an unwritten tacit understanding in the ninja world to fight with eyes closed, or not to look into each other's eyes. The other party obviously regarded him as an orthodox Uchiha ninja, but does illusion have to be looked at directly before it can be used? If you do this, the Kurama clan will scold you. It's a pity that the Kurama clan has declined, so it didn't make much of a name in the ninja world. In the final analysis, the limits of blood inheritance of the Kurama clan are too deceptive. As long as we collect enough intelligence, we can fight against the opponent's weaknesses. Why do I feel that my confusion has become a ready-made teaching template? It's not the positive kind. Qianyue was immediately laughed out of anger. It seems that he needs to spread the horror of the dance genjutsu to save everyone from thinking that they can live in peace without looking at his Sharingan. What left Qianyue speechless the most was physical skills, illusion skills, and ninjutsu. What he is least good at is illusion. If it weren't for the Sharingan, or if it wasn't for the exclusive dance skills, Qianyue would be doing nothing but genjutsu. If he had time to mess around with illusions, he might as well put some effort into physical skills and swordsmanship. This was what Qianyue was good at. You should be careful. This guy's name is Qianyue. He is good at physical skills and swordsmanship. We will bring him. The team's special Jounin died in his hands. Afraid that Qianyue and the others might underestimate their enemy, an injured Konoha ninja reminded the three of them, don't underestimate this guy. He is not weak, don't worry, it's okay. You are safe. Now Shu took out the gauze and first aid medicine from the ninja bag. I'm here to help you bandage your wounds. Reinforcements should arrive soon. As for the enemies, you don't have to worry. Qianyue and Minato will take care of them. But, is it really okay? Although they had also heard about some of Qianyue's deeds, there were a lot of enemies, and Qianyue and Minato looked really small. With just a few enemies, there won't be any problems. Shinshu skillfully helped bandage the wounds of several wounded people. Tree did this kind of thing a lot when we were in the camp. He dared to start bandaging the wounds of the wounded in front of us. He didn't take us seriously, did he? The behavior of the rope tree made all the ninjas in Ninja Village unable to stand it. If they weren't afraid of Qianyue's reputation, they would have rushed forward, but Shinshu was good at bandaging the wounds of the wounded in front of them, and even belittled them. This is not the end, the belittling is over, and a few kicks are also added. Take care of the wounded at the back first, then I'll hold Yagami Kianzuki. Following Qianyue's order, the ninjas in Ninja Village took action. Qianyue, who was good at physical arts, disappeared from the place with a blink of an eye and appeared in front of Qianyue. The long and sharp samurai sword in his hand was slashed at Qianyue's throat. Why bother? I can't wait to die. Do you think that by lowering your head and not looking into my eyes, you can avoid the exclusive dance illusion that is sure to hit? Wouldn't that be a little too naive? Sakura Luo's exclusive skill was activated, and Qianyue felt his eyes spinning, and his consciousness had been pulled into the illusion space. Qianyue snatched the ninja sword from the opponent's hand, and cut his throat directly without giving him any chance to dance. Blood spurted out, and Qianyue, who was on the verge of death, was forced to break free from the illusion space. Unfortunately, what greeted him was only death, with his eyes full of shock and disbelief. Qianyue weakly clutched his throat and fell softly to the ground. Until his death, he could not figure out when he was controlled by the illusion. Lord Naruto. In just the blink of an eye, thousands of Naruto fell to the ground. The ninjas in the Rain Ninja Village stood there in shock, staring blankly at the corpse of Qianyue who fell in the mud. No, Lord Naruto is dead. After a few seconds, the remaining ninjas of the Rain Ninja Village dispersed in a hurry, not daring to think of attacking the Konoha ninjas again. The Jounin leading the team was a tough guy who would die in the face of him. If he continued to charge forward, what else could he do if he wasn't going to die? Yagami Qianyue's strength is obviously concealed, and she must go back alive and pass the information back. That's it again. Minato's expression was exactly what I expected, and Naoki showed a helpless expression towards the wounded man who had already fallen into a Spartan state. You see, I told you not to worry about it, but you still don't believe me. Don't you want revenge? After solving Qianyue had no intention of beating up the drowned dog. Seeing that some of the rescued ninjas were standing stupidly watching the show, they couldn't help but ask, revenge, and military exploits. After receiving Qianyue's reminder, the few people realized what they were doing. They followed Minato with excited shouts and began to chase down the people in the Rain Ninja Village. Who doesn't want revenge? Chapter 76. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was so embarrassing to be chased just now, and I almost thought I was dead, but now that the opponent's Jounin is dead and only Chunin and Genin are left, how can they be so scared? Just do it and it's done. Besides, Qianyue is right. Chasing the enemy can not only get revenge, but also gain military merit. It doesn't matter if he is a Chunin or a Genin, he will get military merit even if he kills him. It's also because Qianyue is relatively Buddhist. If it were other ninjas, these people would hardly be able to make any profit. Sarutobi Sasaki, I have met Senzuki-sama. Seeing Qianyue approaching, the middle-aged ninja who had bandaged his wounds with the help of the rope tree quickly stood up and saluted. Obviously, Qianyue's strength has been recognized by them. Generally, only the Jounin of the village and people in high positions would receive such treatment. Qianyue's ninja level is only at the Chunin level, but no one would really treat him as a Chunin. Sarutobi. Qianyue didn't expect that the other party was still a member of the third Hokage's clan, so she couldn't help but look at him in surprise. As we all know, ninjas from the Sarutobi clan rarely go to the battlefield. Otherwise, how could we gather an army of 2,000 ninjas during the Fourth Ninja War? A family can only raise 2,000 ninjas. What is the concept? There was no family crest mark of the Sarutobi clan on the other party's clothes. If he hadn't reported his name, who would have thought that this guy was from the Sarutobi clan? By the way, the Sarutobi clan is known as a civilian family, and they will definitely not embroider family emblems on their clothes casually. After all, they must develop steadily. It was too high profile and inconsistent with the theory of the third Hokage. What's wrong? Is there anything wrong with people from the Sarutobi clan? Weren't they all from Konoha, so why are you so surprised? Shingshu touched Qianyue with his hand. Qianyue said with a smile, "It's okay, I'm just surprised to meet someone from the Sarutobi clan on the battlefield. This seems to be the first time." Yeah. Naoshu scratched his head, thought about it for a moment, and then froze. There didn't seem to be many ninjas from the Sarutobi clan on the battlefield, at least he didn't encounter a few. No wonder Qianyue was so surprised. So the question is, where are the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan? The rope tree is not stupid, it just seems careless sometimes. In fact, this guy calms down and has a very bright mind. Some secrets are nothing new to rope tree. Is this decision of the village really a good one? Naoki didn't know, he only knew that among the big families in Konoha, the Senju clan was the worst, and the most ninjas died on the battlefield. In the end, he was turned into a commoner by Senju Tobarama, and now he no longer even has a surname. Naoki and Tsunade are both direct descendants of Senju, but their current names are Naoki and Tsunade, without the surname Senju in front of them. This shows how thoroughly the Senju clan has become civilians. It just so happened that while the Thousand Hands clan had sacrificed so much, some families remained silent and developed in secret with resources that should have belonged to the common people. I have to say that the third Hokage's strategy was right. Nowadays, the villagers in Konoha don't think that families like Sarutobi and Shimura are big families, and all their eyes are focused on big families like Uchiha and Hinata. Well, I don't know if the second grandfather made the right decision to make the family civilian and even give up the surname. Sighing, Naoshu patted Qianyue on the shoulder. You look at the wounded, and I'll pick them up. Every time, it's you and Minato who kill the enemy, and I can only watch. Go ahead. Qianyue has no interest in chasing down enemies. Since Shingshu wants to go, then just go. No one is a fool. The conversation between Kianzuki and Naoki made Sarutobi Sasaki a little embarrassed. After all, he is a member of the Sarutobi clan, and it is indeed quite uncomfortable to be told about the family's civilian policy to his face. Only Sarutobi and Shimura can do this for a large family that has the reputation of being a commoner. Don't be nervous, I didn't mean anything else. I was just surprised. Instead, Qianyue smiled and comforted Sarutobi Sasaki, but it had no effect. Not long after, Minato, Naoshu, and the people who rushed out to kill the enemy and grab the victory came back. Only one person was slightly injured, and the others were intact. Take the wounded and return to camp. He hid Xiaobai under his raincoat, took out a piece of dried meat and played with it. When everyone arrived, Qianyue announced that he was returning to the camp. How's the situation going with the battle ahead? On the road, Qianyue caught Sarutobi Sasaki and asked. Sarutobi Sasaki replied respectfully, Lord Qianyue, the battle ahead is still chaotic. The ninjas from Iwa Ninja Village, Sand Ninja Village, and Rain Ninja Village are all besieging our Konoha ninjas, and they themselves are attacking each other. Currently, under the command of Lord Orochimaru, the position has not been captured, but the battle is fierce. That's fine. Orochimaru still has a few skills, at least he is good at commanding, much stronger than Danzo, the Hokage's assistant. Qianyue remembered that after the war in the Kingdom of Rain, Orochimaru was responsible for the local war between the Suna Ninja Village and the Kingdom of Wind. Orochimaru also lived up to the expectations of the third Hokage. Under his command, Konoha defeated the Sand Ninja Village. This made Orochimaru's reputation unprecedentedly high, directly overshadowing Tsunade and Jiraiya. It's a pity that the credit is so great that some people can't sit still. In addition, Orochimaru began to go dark, and eventually missed the position of the fourth Hokage, which gave Minato an advantage. It can be said that if Orochimaru did not go dark, did not engage in various taboo experiments, did not get together with Danzo, and did not experiment with ninjas from his own village, the fourth Hokage would have nothing to do with Minato. The team escorted the wounded back to the camp, and after reporting their battle achievements to confirm that they were correct, they got a reprieve, finally home. Lying in the tent, Shingshu couldn't help but sigh. I hated this tent before, but now I miss it so much. I don't know how many days I can rest this time. People are all contradictory, just like the rope tree. Before entering the battlefield, all I wanted to do was go into battle and kill the enemy, but after he spent some time on the battlefield, he couldn't help but miss the days of doing chores in the camp. I'm afraid I won't have much time to rest. Minato crossed his hands with a serious expression. I just got some information. Due to the battlefield in the Kingdom of Sichuan, it is difficult for the village to send troops to the battlefield in the Kingdom of Rain. Now all areas are short of troops. I'm afraid the war will become more and more intense in the future. Fortunately, Sand Ninja Village, Iwa Ninja Village, and Rain Ninja Village are all fighting on their own. If they unite, we will be in big trouble. Naoshu ignored the complaints and expressed his analysis. The two discussed for a while, and finally pulled Qianyue in, who was thinking about what to eat for dinner. Qianyue was speechless and could only say, No matter what, Konoha will eventually reconcile with the Rain Ninja Village and end this meaningless war. No way. Naoki and Minato were slightly startled. Konoha was the one who took the initiative. If the war is not won and peace talks are forced, Konoha will be humiliated. Why not? Qianyue asked funnily. You don't think that peace talks mean Konoha loses, do you? Chapter 77. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is not it? Naoshu felt that Qianyue's words were quite convoluted. Minato nodded in agreement. He pushed the water door and asked him to make room for him. Qianyue sat between the two of them, picked up a stick and drew several circles on the ground. This is the area currently occupied by the 4 participating parties on the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain. We, Konoha, are here, and this is the Suna Ninja Village, and the Rain Ninja Village. Yu Ninja Village has the largest territory, and its current occupation is a free-for-all with no alliance at all. You hit me and I hit you in all directions. Except for our own people, everyone is the enemy. But have you ever thought about it? Even though Yu Ninja Village has developed its military strength very quickly, it is still just a small, poor country. As the military strength becomes stronger, it is only catching up with the 5 major ninja villages. Besides, all the money is used to develop military strength. What about other aspects? Don't you need to eat to fight? Don't you need to change your ninja tools when fighting? Don't you notice how expensive the current supplies and tolerance are? What's more, Yu Ninja Village now beats up anyone they catch. In fact, they have already started to go downhill. Qianyue believed that the constant loss of troops and the multiple doubling of material prices would be enough to give Hanzo a headache. As long as the war situation continues to be stalemate, it won't take long for the Rain Ninja Village to be the first to be unable to survive. At that time, there is no need for Konoha to take the initiative to seek peace talks. Hanzo will also come to Konoha. Otherwise, Hanzo would not have defeated Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya and given them the title of Sannin. That's when the pursuit of negotiations begins. If there was no idea of peace talks, Qianyue would not believe it even to death. Hanzo defeated the 3 Tsunade people and deliberately let them go when the 3 people had almost no resistance. He was just given a title that disgusted Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. In the eyes of others, this is an honorific, but in the eyes of the 3 of them, the so-called title of Sannin is a shame. So we, Konoha, will win this war. Nonsense, go and prepare firewood. Don't you want to eat? Or do you want to eat dry food and military ration pills? You haven't eaten enough these days. Qianyue is not a messy person either. He has never bothered with food since he left the sentry post. I just relied on dry food and military food pills to survive. Now that I'm back in the camp, I definitely can't wrong myself anymore. Go right away. After gnawing dry food until the bird almost faded out of his mouth, now that he can finally eat something good, why would the rope tree be willing to continue eating dry food? Ending this topic that was not theirs to worry about, they ran out of the tent to look for firewood. Iori Senjutsu, Namikaze Minato, Mizuki, Danzo-sama invites you. The good times didn't last long. The day after the team returned to the camp, Danzo sent someone to notify them and asked them to gather at the headquarters. The 3 of them packed up their things and came to the headquarters. Lord Danzo. Entering the headquarters, Minato walked forward consciously and saluted Danzo on behalf of the team. Danzo didn't care who the team leader was, as long as there was a process. I asked your team to come here today to assign a task to you. Sir Danzo, please speak. When it's time to be serious, Minato is an absolutely well-behaved baby, so well-behaved that you can't find any fault with him. Danzo stood up and walked towards the map hanging on the wooden wall, and drew a line along the map with his finger. According to the information collected by the ANBU, the Rain Ninja Village recently purchased a large amount of food from the daimyo mansion of the Land of Fire in the name of the daimyo, including ninja tools and materials purchased by the Rain Ninja Village from the Land of Craftsmen. I need your team to go out, cut off this supply line, and destroy all the supplies. In the previous life, this kind of behavior would undoubtedly be slandering the enemy, very much like an ancient profiteer. In order to make money, important materials such as salt and iron were sold to the grasslands frantically, but in the world of Naruto, this is legal and reasonable, because the supplies were not purchased by the Rain Ninja Village, but by the daimyo of the Land of Rain. The reason is also very legitimate, in order to prevent the civilians of the Rain country from starving. When it comes to purchasing food and supplies, coupled with the complicated kinship relationships between daimyo from various countries, even if they know it is an act of siding with the enemy, the daimyo of the Fire country will not refuse, as long as the daimyo of the country of Rain doesn't go around crazy and say that I bought this batch of supplies for the Rain Ninja Village. We can successfully purchase food from the country of Fire. This is simply an act of collaborating with the enemy. Ro Tree felt betrayed. How could the daimyo do this? Konoha and the Rain Ninja Muramasa were fighting you to the death. It would be better for these officials in Daming Mansion to directly sell food to the country of Rain. What is this if not capitalizing on the enemy? Purchased in the name of the daimyo, in the name of the common people of Rain Kingdom, the final supplies did not fall into the hands of the Rain Ninja Village. Be careful. Danzo looked at the rope tree expressionlessly and corrected his wrong words. This batch of supplies was purchased by the Lord of the Rain Country for the people of the Rain Country who were starving due to the war, not for the Rain Ninja Village. Yes. He understands the truth, but it's a pity that Shingshu is not convinced. So your team's mission is to destroy this batch of supplies and cut off this supply transportation road. Isn't the strength of a small team a little small? Material transportation is usually escorted by many ninjas. There are only 3 people in a team. It is not that easy to cut off a transportation line. The most important thing is, Qianyue doesn't want to work so hard. After looking at Qianyue, Danzo continued, The strength of your team is enough to cut off this supply line and destroy all supplies destined for you Ninja Village. The battle on the front line of the position was intense, and it was impossible for Hanzo to personally escort the supply routes. As long as Hanzo didn't protect the transport troops, with Qianyue's strength that could easily kill a Jonin, it wouldn't be too difficult to cut off such a supply line. Besides, this is just one of the lines used by Uren Village to transport supplies. It is obviously impossible to completely cut off all supply routes of materials to you Ninja Village with just one small team. These people are so hateful. They actually sold food to the country of Rain during the war. Don't they know that these food supplies will eventually fall into the hands of the Rain Ninja Village? After accepting the mission, the team left the headquarters. Qingshu couldn't help but cursed, with an indignant look on his face. Calm down. Qianyue patted his shoulder, hugged him and asked, Do you know the relationship between the daimyo of the Rain Country and the daimyo of the Fire Country? What relationship? Naoshu's expression was dumbfounded. He had never understood this information. If Qianyue hadn't read some books about the famous mansions, she wouldn't have been able to figure out the complicated relationships between these famous names. For details, she could refer to the royal families of various European countries in ancient times. Your cousin asks you to buy food, will you refuse? Of course not. Well. Naoki was speechless. Minato shrugged his shoulders and turned his head, snickering secretly. Obviously, Qingshu was led astray by Qianyue again. Furthermore, the daughter of a daimyo from the land of rain is married to the daimyo's mansion from the land of fire. Do you know what this means? Forget it, we won't discuss this topic anymore. Qingshu looked at the sky speechlessly, because strictly speaking, he was one of them. After all, her mother's natal family was Daming Mansion. All kinds of relatives can be involved in a complicated relationship that is constantly being cut and sorted out. Besides, if there is money to be made, why don't the great names of the Fire Country make money? What? Konoha is at war with the Rain Ninja Village. Isn't that your Konoha business? What does it have to do with Daming Mansion? Chapter 78. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After packing their belongings, the three of them left the camp that day and headed towards the material transportation route. Returning to the land of fire after a long absence, the three of them could finally take off their raincoats. The conscience of heaven and earth, wearing this thing is not convenient at all. From a distance, it looks like a dark ghost shadow, which is very scary. Qianyue can only say that the basic industry of the Naruto world is really worrying. No decent raincoat can be mass-produced. As long as the information given by the command center is correct, the transportation team from Ninja Village will arrive tomorrow. Some traps will be laid out first. They even came up with ways to purchase food and supplies from the Daming Mansion of the Country of Fire. It can be foreseen that there will definitely not be much supplies left in Urin Village, not to mention that there are a lot of ninja tools and detonating charms hidden in this batch of food supplies. The destruction of this batch of supplies definitely made things worse for Ninja Village. In fact, not only the Rain Ninja Village, but also various supplies in Konoha were in short supply. Due to the two-front war, Nagato's parents were accidentally killed by Konoha's ninjas after they robbed them of food. It is still unknown whether Uchiha Madara and Black Zetsu will direct the film. If Jiraiya hadn't stayed to take Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan as his disciples, how would Uchiha Madara and Black Zetsu arrange Nagato's subsequent growth? Will Heizetsu change his identity and become a teacher to teach Nagato? At that time, Heiju was afraid that he would not show up even if he didn't want to. After all, Nagato had to warm up his Rinnegan and sacrifice himself to prepare for the resurrection of Uchiha Madara. It's a pity that his game kaleidoscope skill is not Kamui, otherwise Uchiha Madara and Black Zetsu would probably die of panic if Nagato was hidden. Everyone, walk faster and increase your speed. There are still a large number of people in the Rain Country waiting for this batch of food to be saved. Yoshida Shoichi kept urging his subordinates to increase their speed. He almost forgot how many times he had urged them along the way. There is not much food in the Country of Rain, and the consumption of ninja tools is serious, so this batch of food and materials is urgently needed. In order to win the war, Hanzo had to ask the daimyo for help. Food was purchased from the Country of Fire in his name, and ninja supplies bought from other places were hidden in it and transported to the Country of Rain together. After the war broke out, the Rain Ninja Village and Konoha fought back and forth from the very beginning, with no one submitting to the other. Until now, I am struggling to hold on. In addition to Konoha, Rain Ninja Village also needs to face the ninjas of Iwa Ninja Village and Sand Ninja Village. Without enough material support, Ninja Village will be on the road to defeat in this war. You too, go ahead and investigate. Yes, Master Zhengyi. Two Rain Ninja Village ninjas dressed as farmers from the Country of Fire quickly left the convoy and ran to the front to conduct reconnaissance. As the convoy pulling food got closer and closer, Qingshu asked in a low voice, Qianyue, how do you know that those two ninjas will go around? Qianyue, who was lying on the ground, asked without looking back, "If I asked you to scout ahead, would you start from the front of the convoy?" Forehead, Xingshu held it in for a long time, and then uttered 2 words in frustration, "No, you don't know how to do it, and you still expect others to do it?" Remember, this is a mistake that many ninjas make easily. If I were the captain of this batch of material escorts, I would never trust my subordinates to investigate. Regardless of strength or investigation ability, except for some special cases, most genin and chunin are definitely not as good as jounin. After all, these are all listed in the assessment. If you don't meet the standards, you won't be promoted to a jonin. Of course, this is only the standard of the 5 great ninja villages, and the standard of your ninja village. It certainly cannot be compared with the 5 major ninja villages, otherwise, the Rain Ninja Village wouldn't be able to recruit many jounin and chunin. Such assessment standards can make the overall military strength of Urin village look very strong. But after the war broke out, apart from Hanzo himself and several of his deputies, there were no ninjas with impressive strength in the entire Rain Ninja Village. The Rain Ninja Village can stand up to Konoha, Suna Ninja Village, and Iwa Ninja Village. Most of the credit is due to Hanzo alone. Without Hanzo, your ninja village would be disintegrated in an instant. This is the gap in strength base. Seeing the supply team escorted by Urin village getting closer and closer, Qianyue gestured to the rope tree. Now Shu nodded and raised his hands to quickly form seals. The moment the material escort team approaches, Earth release, 2 long spear technique. Qianyue discovered that many Earth escape ninjutsu are really practical, such as the Earth escape gun, which is very useful for killing enemies and creating chaos. No, there are enemies. Ah! Help me! As the road surface shook, a large piece of sharp rock emerged from the ground, like bamboo shoots after a spring rain, and the entire material transport team was turned upside down. All kinds of food were scattered on the ground, and the seal scrolls hidden among them rolled out. Several ninjas from the Rain Ninja Village who reacted slowly turned into bloody candied haws. It's a pity that no one can eat this kind of candied haws. Where did the kid come from? Seeing the supplies scattered on the ground, Yoshida was bleeding all over. This was something Hanzo-sama had finally asked the daimyo to buy, and yet it was scattered everywhere like this. Several frightened horses screamed and dragged the carriage around, and the scene became a mess, with messes all over the ground. No one told you that this is the territory of the Fire Nation. Fighting against Konoha and buying food from the Land of Fire, it seems that your Rain Ninja Village really has a lot of money left over. Isn't Hanzo afraid that it will be wasted? It seems that Hanzo really has no choice. The Kingdom of Rain was replaced by the Kingdom of Fire and the Kingdom of Wind. The Kingdom of Earth is surrounded by it and is at war with the 3 major kingdoms. The Kingdom of Wind cannot protect itself. It needs to purchase a large amount of food from the Kingdom of Fire every year. The Kingdom of Earth can barely be self-sufficient, but the Iwa Ninja Village and the Rain Ninja Village are currently fighting fiercely. Don't expect the daimyo of the Earth Country to sell food to the Rain Country. The daimyo of the Land of Earth and the daimyo of the Land of Thunder are notoriously protective of their enemies and stand in line with the village. Unlike the daimyos of the Land of Fire and the Kingdom of Wind, they just like to do stupid things. Kid, you're looking for death. Yoshida's eyes were splitting, so Qianyue ambushed them halfway, made a mess of supplies, and even insulted Hanzo, the leader of the Rain Ninja Village. This is something Yoshida Shoichi cannot forgive. Pulling out his ninja sword, Yoshida Shoichi roared and charged towards Qianyue. Chapter 79. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qianyue greeted him directly. This time he did not use any special skills, but relied solely on his physical skills and swordsmanship to fight. 2 ghost-like figures collided with each other, and the ninja swords collided and made a metallic groan. The powerful force rebounded along the arm, and Yoshida's pupils shrank. This kid is so fast and so powerful. His strength and speed far exceed his. If he hadn't been experienced enough in combat, the knife just now might have cut off his hand. The war is about to break out. Kianzuki and Yoshida fought together, and Naoki and Minato worked together to fight against other enemies. What was unexpected was that it was Minato and Nashu who seemed to be at a disadvantage, gradually gaining the upper hand. Enemies were killed one by one, and Minato's super reactions and explosions made Naoki very jealous. Although he was good at physical skills, his chakra was many times that of Minato. but when it comes to the speed of killing enemies, he is far from Minato's opponent. When Minato is fighting an enemy, he can explode in an instant, and unexpectedly pierce the enemy's throat and heart with kunai, but he was much more strenuous. You are a good combat partner, a step better than the Rain Ninja Murakami I met before. Yoshida Shoichi's taijutsu is pretty good. Although the rules are a bit messy, at least his strength is real. Unlike those so-called jonins I met before, they were basically dealt with a few swords. Little brat, stop looking down on others. A kid in his teens actually told himself that he was pretty good and could be considered a qualified target for actual combat. This sentence directly angered Yoshida Shoichi, when, after blocking the opponent's ninja sword, Qianyue couldn't help laughing. Are you angry with shame? In this case, then I'll ask you to die. Under Yoshida Masaichi's shocked gaze, Qianyue's power suddenly exploded, and the instantaneous burst of power shook him out. What made him even more unbelievable was that Qianyue's speed increased again, his eyes flashed red, and the 3 Magatama Sharingan emerged, filled with an alluring red light. Qianyue exploded and opened his Sharingan. In his eyes, Yoshida Shoichi's movements were like strange slow motions. The ninja sword pressed against Yoshida Shoichi's arm that was numb from shock, pierced along his ribs, and penetrated his heart. You are Iori Chizuki. Looking in disbelief at his body being penetrated by a ninja sword, Yoshida's mouth was filled with blood. My mind recalled one of the more famous names in the ninja world recently, Yagami Chizuki, long silver hair, 10 years old, 3 Magatama Sharingan exactly down there. Pulling out his ninja sword and looking at Masaichi Yoshida who was lying on the ground sucking in air and reaching the end of his rope, Qianyue sighed. Your strength and courage have been recognized by me, and I will give you a good burial. As for this batch of supplies, they will never reach the country of rain. The stimulated Yoshida Shoichi vomited out a mouthful of blood, and the color in his eyes began to fade away, losing the breath of life. Glancing at the messy battle scene with corpses everywhere, Qianyue clicked her tongue and said, This kid Minato is getting more and more perverted. If he learns the Flying Thunder God technique, he still won't take off on the spot. Qianyue didn't bother to take a second look at the food. He put away the sealing scrolls that contained a large number of ninja tools and detonating talismans. This is good stuff, a trophy. If you flip it around, you can sell it for a lot of money. As for turning it over, Qianyue has never considered it. Why do I have to hand over the things I stole based on my ability? Danzo's orders were to destroy the supplies, not to capture them. He could happily accept these ninja tools. Art Fire Escape Ho Fireball. A fire burned all the food at the scene. Qianyue sat on the roadside and leaned against the tree pole, waiting for Minato and the rope tree to return. The two of them were chasing the enemy into the forest, and it would take them a while to return. Poor cow, I will accept your meat without mercy. In the team transporting supplies, there are horses pulling carts and oxen pulling carts. Unfortunately, this old cow was unlucky. It was killed by a wave of rope trees and turned into an oversized candied hawse. After a long time, Minato and Naoki returned. Minato had a smile on his face, while Naoki looked depressed. No need to guess, he knew that he was surpassed by Minato once again. After losing to Qianyue again and again, now Shu accepted it. Qianyue is recognized by everyone as a super genius. Since we cannot compare with Qianyue, that would be better than Minato. As a result, he couldn't compare to Qianyue and even Minato. This made the rope tree hit hard and depressed. What? You've done great work, but you still have a sad face. Qianyue couldn't help but joke. Naoki glanced at Minato and shrugged his shoulders. He has 2 more than me. If he and Minato were from the same class, Naoki would feel more comfortable, but he is a full 3 years older than Qianyue and Minato. If you can't even compete with someone 3 years younger than you, what's the point of dreaming about it? What about world peace? What about being able to stand up to the ninja god and become a person like my grandfather? It's just embarrassing. You deserve it. Who told you not to work hard? Qianyue smiled happily. Hurry and deal with the scene and prepare to leave. Why me again? Please be a human being. You hit me, you laughed at me, and you asked me to clean up the mess. Qianyue glanced at the rope tree pointing at her and shrugged. Because among the 3 of us, you are the only one who is good at earth release ninjutsu. Who else are you? If you're not happy, the 3 of us can dig a hole together. Looking at the ninja swords and kunai in his hands, Naoki felt that it was better to do it himself. Digging holes was too troublesome. When will we go back? Eating the delicious roast beef, Naoshu regretted not cutting more beef. No hurries. Qianyue threw a few firewood into the fire and said calmly, "The mission given to us by the commander-in-chief is to completely cut off this transportation route. Let's wait and see. There is no time limit for such a task, and whether the task is completed or not depends on the team's own evaluation. If they thought their mission was accomplished and chose to return to the camp, only for someone to transport supplies there, that would be a dereliction of duty on their part. Qianyue would rather spend more time on this line than be blamed for negligence for no reason. Besides, it's uncomfortable to stay in the land of fire where the weather is good, and you want to go to the Kingdom of Rain to feel uncomfortable. The damn weather in the Kingdom of Rain is not as comfortable as in the Kingdom of Fire. In the Kingdom of Rain, in a slightly shabby camp, Hanzo looked at the list of supplies and frowned again and again. The supplies in the village cannot last long. The consumption of supplies far exceeded Hanzo's expectations. In addition to various supplies, even the casualties were shockingly high. Hanzo has already tasted the consequences of declaring war on Konoha, Iwa Ninja Village, and Suna Ninja Village in one breath. Compared with the background, Ninja Village is no match for the 5 major ninja villages. After all, Konoha, Sand Ninja Village, and Iwa Ninja Village felt uncomfortable now, and Rain Ninja Village was almost at the end of its rope. Hanzo-sama. At this moment, a stumbling figure broke in. Hanzo's already ugly face darkened. What's the matter? Master Hanzo, the team that went to the country of fire to deliver supplies has been annihilated. Chapter 80. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What? Hanzo stood up in shock, feeling like the sky was about to fall. When Yurin village was short of supplies, the supplies were intercepted and destroyed. Have you sent someone to investigate in detail? After all, he is the leader of a village, and Hanzo's courage is not comparable to that of ordinary people. He did not get angry and yell, nor did he blame his subordinates for their incompetence. As long as the enemy receives information about this kind of thing, they will definitely take action without hesitation, and the person who takes action is most likely Konoha. The supplies were purchased in secret, but how did Konoha get the information? Hanzo didn't know, but it was too late to say that now. Hanzo-sama. The person from the intelligence department half knelt on the ground, lowered his head and answered, "People have been sent to check. All the ninjas in our village have been killed, all supplies have been destroyed, and there are signs of a lot of fighting using ninjutsu on the scene." Traces of the battle spread into the forest, indicating that there were not many people attacking the material transport team, maybe just a small team. My subordinates feel that Konoha must have taken action. Konoha. Hanzo fell silent. After a long time, Hanzo suddenly laughed. It seems that Konoha's intelligence-gathering ability is indeed outstanding. Sir, could it be that the daimyo of the fire country betrayed us? Won't. Hanzo said confidently. The daimyo also needs face. At this time, if he is caught selling supplies by Konoha, he can already question the daimyo mansion. Therefore, what they do themselves will never be publicized to the outside world. The only possibility is that there are spies planted by Konoha in the daiming mansion. Even the daimyo's selling of supplies to outsiders is clear. It seems that I have underestimated Konoha after all. Walking out of the tent and letting the rain pour on him, Hanzo felt inexplicably powerless at this moment. The long war had left him mentally and physically exhausted, and now that the supplies had been destroyed, it was even worse. How was the investigation of last time? Danzo's confused words made his subordinate stunned and replied, Master Hanzo, after our investigation, we found that several of the ninjas who massacred civilians came from Suna Ninja Village and were not from Konoha. The war between Konoha and the Rain Ninja Village began when civilians in the Rain country were frequently massacred by Konoha ninjas. With the outbreak of the war, no one mentioned this matter again, but Hanzo still asked people to investigate. The Rain Ninja Village captured and killed some people. After investigation, it was found that some of the people were from the Sand Ninja Village, and the identities of the rest were unknown. The answer to who is provoking the war is clear: Suna Ninja Village. In order to make Konoha and Rain Ninja Village go to war, Suna Ninja Village had to use all its mechanisms. It seems that life in Sand Ninja Village is not easy either. Improve military strength? Is it wrong for our Rain Ninja Village to improve its military strength? Are only the 5 major ninja villages allowed to improve their strength, but not the small ninja villages? Hanzo felt ridiculous about Konoha's questioning. The various overt and covert struggles between the two sides are only within limited control. The Sand Ninja Village, on the other hand, stabbed them in the back as soon as they made a move, causing a war between Konoha and the Rain Ninja Village. Pass my order to begin the siege of Konoha's position tomorrow. This war must eventually come to an end. Yes. Although they didn't understand that Hanzo was still staring at Konoha, the ninjas in the Rain Ninja Village still passed on the order obediently. For a time, all the ninjas in Ninja Village who could still fight were ready. A big war is about to break out, different from the previous scattered local wars. This is a frontal war. After holding on for several days, but still no other transport troops arrived, Qianyue and the others returned to the Kingdom of Rain. When they returned to the camp to submit the mission, Danzo did not trick them in this matter, and recorded their achievements one by one. Your choice is indeed the right one. If we go back directly on the same day, we might not have any time to rest at all. Naoshu shook his raincoat dejectedly and shook off the water drops on the raincoat. The 3 returned to the camp and were dispatched in less than a day. The mission is to make a surprise attack on a camp in Sand Ninja Village and destroy the supplies in the camp. Some command tasks on the front line were handed over to Orochimaru. Danzo finally had time to show off his talents, and various secret moves arose one after another. Attacking the stronghold today and attacking supplies tomorrow. The Rain Ninja Village and the Sand Ninja Village were in dire straits. Passing by a village and looking at the dilapidated and deserted village, Minato sighed. After the war is over, the Rain country may not be able to recover for 10 years. Brother, be more confident and remove the word, I'm afraid. When the war is over, don't say 10 years, give them 20 years. Ninja Village couldn't relax either. As far as the but is a little bigger, the environment is still very bad. If there is no trade route, if there is no financial source, what can Urin Village do to recover? Even if the people in the surrounding area had a commission, they would not choose a small village like Ninja Village. The vicious cycle continues, and it is strange that the Rain country can recover, not to mention that after the war, bandits and wandering ninjas emerged one after another, which was enough for the people of this country to enjoy. Rest right here and start again tomorrow. There was still a long time before Danzo's designated time, so Qianyue was not in a hurry and took the lead towards the dilapidated village. There was no one in the village. There were collapsed houses and traces of fighting everywhere. Entering a relatively intact farmhouse, Xingshu took the initiative to dismantle some useless furniture, used them as firewood, and lit the fire. Minato left consciously and went out to find something to eat. The 3 of them had a clear division of labor. Qianyue was responsible for cooking, Naoshu was responsible for firewood, and Minato was responsible for hunting. If no prey can be found, they will eat dry food or bread. Fuck. Minato, have you become interested in snakes recently, or have the toads in Mt. Mayaboku influenced you? When Minato came back carrying a python that was as thick as a calf and several meters long, the rope tree couldn't help but scream strangely. With the help and guidance of Orochimaru, the rope tree has begun to sign a contract with the snakes in Ryuchi Cave. At this time, the last thing he wants is to eat snake meat. There is nothing outside, only these things. Minato spread his hands helplessly, showing that I was also helpless. Qianyue smiled and prepared the prey, chopped it into small pieces, marinated and grilled it, and did not forget to tease the 2 of them. Noseki, I'm not telling you, you can't bear this kind of anger. I'll catch a bunch of toads another day to feed Minato. You just fan the flames, why don't you catch a few foxes to eat? Naoshu rolled his eyes, and he dared to repeat these words in his heart. The last time he said it, Xiaobai slapped him with a claw and flew him 10 meters away. As a result, Naoki and Minato would become cautious when mentioning the word fox. Afraid of offending Xiaobai by saying the wrong thing, Xiaobai would fly them away. Rice with snake meat, a weird combination, but it tastes good. Even the rope tree that he said he disliked was eaten with gusto. As for whether the snake in Lomdi Cave would find him eating snake meat, that was a matter for the future. We have guests. While eating, Qianyue put down her bowls and chopsticks and looked outside. Minato and Naoki immediately took out their weapons. calm down. Holding Minato and Naoki's hands down, Qianyue raised her head and looked towards the door. It's just 3 children. The world is so small that we can encounter everything like this, child. Are you kidding me? The 3 of us are still children ourselves.